Welcome back, Habs fans. It's Tuesday, August 12th, and there's so little to talk about. But we'll discuss a subject that, people bring up all the time on the internet, and that is the Montreal Canadiens practicing and the videos that people put up in the summer. Some people are annoyed, some people aren't. And I got some ideas about it. Let's discuss. Hey, gang. Costa here from Puck Talk Montreal, and as always, please give me a thumbs up for liking the video, subscribe, do whatever you want. I appreciate all the support you guys put out there for the channel. And in the comment section, by all means, I did it for William the other day, despite the fact he didn't agree with me, but that's okay too. Just give me ideas that you want to hear. Do you want to know something about different game situations? What I think about players? Tell me. Put it in the comments, and I'll discuss it. The thing I'm going to discuss today, though, is a subject that, I see time and time again on the internet, and people, putting up videos and freaking out because players are on the ice and they're scoring goals in the summer and yada, yada, yada. And you know what, guys? All it is players going on the ice for an hour and going through drills, keeping their legs loose. If you take a look at this video right here, all it is, you're going through a 3-on-3 drill here. Demidov on the board, sends it out front, bang, it's in the net. Players do this all the time. When there's a lot of guys out on the ice, you see these drills where you got 4-on-3, 3-on-3, stuff like that. They'll take the nets, they'll put them, in the other direction from board to board instead of in their conventional spot to play small area games and stuff. I mean, these are normal things that you'll see at the Canadiens practice facility every summer. And the other thing you see every summer is there's always a coach available. And it's a credit to them, right? Because everybody deserves a vacation. But Adam Nicholas and the rest of the other development coaches for the Canadiens, they're always around in the summer to be able to provide some kind of drills and structure to guys that want to get on the ice. Their skills coaches are always available in the summer because that's the time the players take to be able to work on specific areas of their game that they think are deficient. Whether it's face-offs, whether it's shooting, whether it's taking puck off the boards, whether it's straddling the blue line for defensemen with the puck, the list goes on. And the coaches are always there. And the reason I know this firsthand is because a few years ago, my former partner on Montreal Hockey Talk, Stephen Hindle, and I used to run the skate hockey program out of the Canadiens practice facility in Brossard. And when we would have lunch between noon and 1, the Montreal Canadiens were always on the ice practicing something, whether it was 5 players, 10 players, whatever the case was. They're always out there, and fans are always there with their nose up against the glass watching their favorite players practice. And in those particular days, I had the pleasure of meeting guys like Mats Pacioretty, David Desharnais, Zach Foucault was there at sometimes, Roman Hammerlick was there as well. And the Hammerlick story is really funny, but I'm not going to get into it because it's one of those things where you catch a guy with his pants down, literally, in the locker room. I digress, right? But when you take a look at everything that the Canadiens do on the ice, you'll see guys out there shooting at nets, trying to pick a specific corner from an area on the ice, doing one-touch passes like this to try to get their timing down for game situations. It's about gauging the speed from your teammate to see how fast he makes that one-touch pass to you so you can get a shot off. Here you saw one pass come from Line A, the other one coming from, I think it was Suzuki. Different angles as far as, that little attack triangle that you see right there. And as I said, they'll be out there, they'll be taking shots, there's rebounds, there's whatever. That's Jakub Dobeš, by the way, in goal for the Canadiens. They're practicing. But, by and large, they'll do anything to get better. The Canadiens players will show up at 9 a.m. They'll do a little bit of video. They'll get in a little bit of a workout. They'll get on the ice. They'll work on their deficiencies. And it's commonplace. It's not the 1960s, 70s, or 80s where, guys like Guy Lafleur used to go into the intermission and smoke a cigarette in the locker room. Or, would do all kinds of different things like drink beer after games. Players don't do that anymore, and you know that, right? Players are like machines. They're well built, whether it's tree trunk legs or upper body strength or what have you, depending on their position. There's a lot of put in there, right? We're not talking about the smaller salaries of the yesteryear. We're talking about millions of dollars on the table, depending on your abilities and your skills to be able to play at the National Hockey League level. So the guys' bodies and their ability to play is their bread and butter. It's like you and I. When you're working in a certain position, and during the day, I actually work as a systems administrator for a company. Technology changes on a daily basis, and I've got to stay up to date. Hockey changes on a daily basis too. You go from teams that employ an overload power play to a 1-3-1, or you have the penalty kill that's inverted as opposed to a box. They're using a diamond now. There's all these different variances. There's neutral zone regroups. There's the left wing lock. There's two-man forecheck. There's all kinds of different points of contention in hockey now that players have to really get into the nuts and bolts of the game to make themselves better. It's not all about how you hold your stick, how fast you skate, and how hard you hit. There's a lot more that goes into the game now, positionally, from an intensity perspective, from a mental point of view, because you need to have some stability up there to be able to perform on a nightly basis for 82 games in a season. So, for them to go out there in the summer and work on these things, because God knows during the regular season, you don't have the time, right? You've got, this year, the Canadiens have 17 back-to-backs. When do you think these guys are actually going to be able to go out there and work on specific issues that they have problems with? They're going to get 2 weeks around the Olympics to do that. Sure, great. But, a lot of guys take off for a week and then they come back and they get back into the swing of things as far as play is concerned. And then, when their teammates come back from the Olympics, then they really get back into practicing. So there's no real individual one-on-one time for them to be able to get better on the ice. But the summer is actually the best time for them because the coaches, there's so few players on the ice that the coaches can really focus on the specific areas that players want to improve. Whether it's Patrick Laine working on his back check and being able to angle guys properly from a defensive posture, or whether it's Lane Hudson taking pucks off the boards on his backhand on the right side to be able to get them to the net quicker and transition from backhand to forehand, whether it's straddling across the blue line, any number of things that you need to do, working on your skating, getting faster, putting a parachute on your back and working on your striding. These aren't things that you do during the regular season when you've got 20-odd guys on the ice. You can't. There's no space. But in the summer, it's ideal. So, listen, I appreciate guys putting up the videos and showing us what the Canadiens are doing in the summer. Sometimes you pick up something that you didn't see before, and then you understand what a player is doing on a day-to-day basis in games, right? Like why Patrick Laine starts at the hash mark and backs up as he waits for the one-timer to come from the blue line, normally from Lane Hudson. Why do you do that? Because you want to give him an angle, right? As you're backing off, he's going to give you that pass and you're going to get away from any type of block, right? As you're backing off. Not too much. You don't want to get beyond the dot, but that's Laine. That's what he does. Other guys stand still. A guy like Ovechkin, for example, doesn't move around all that much. He'll come in and out and do a little figure eight, but he won't vary his position all that much. Why? It's a question of personal preference. Does it work? Sometimes yes, sometimes no. Sometimes you need the summer to be able to adjust and learn to teach yourself to do something new. And it's always fun to watch. You watch all these videos, and there's plenty of them out there on YouTube. Guys, go out there. I didn't download a bunch of them. I just downloaded a couple. But there's all kinds of videos out there for you to watch the Canadiens practice. It's fun. But don't get overly excited when somebody like Demidov scores 5 goals in a practice. It's not competitive hockey, guys. They're out there practicing. They're going to score some goals that are pretty because guys don't hit. Guys don't put sticks in your legs. You know how it is. So, yes, they're going to score a lot of pretty goals in practice. But what you can get excited about is the different variances in the drills and what they're going to bring to the table as far as their skill set is concerned. You can watch them dangle. You can watch them move in and out of players. But again, when they dangle, somebody's going to crack somebody into the boards when they overstick handle a puck, right? We saw that happen with plenty of players throughout the history of the National Hockey League. Guys that had all kinds of skill, but eventually they get popped. So, take it with a grain of salt. It's okay to be excited. You want to be excited because the team's going to be so much better this year. But don't get overly excited about goals that are scored at practice. They don't mean anything, right? Oftentimes, you don't even see an NHL goalie in nets for the Canadiens. It's their e-bug or it's another goalie from the minors that they bring up just to practice with the guys. A lot of times you see the holy goalie who's normally in behind the net. So don't read too much into it. Be excited about the drills. Be excited about what they do between teammates, but don't be excited about the goals. They're not that important at this phase of the summer. Tell me what you think. Do you think that it's important to really be excited about what's going on in the summer? Are you like me and you're indifferent about it? You just like to watch them practice and see what they're doing to be able to make themselves better? I certainly enjoy that part. As a coach, you always do. And you learn something from it, right? Different drills and stuff like that. And by all means, if there's something that you want me to discuss in the comments, something that you've heard somewhere else, put it in the comments. Let me know. And like I did for William, despite the fact that he didn't agree with my viewpoint, which is fine, I'll talk about it. And then we can discuss. The banter back and forth is great. So let's continue doing that. And again, don't forget, give the video a nice little thumbs up, right? If you like. If you don't like, put the thumbs down. Whatever it is, feedback is feedback, good or bad. Bye for now.